Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Man United Agenda. And it is going to be a lively show. Manchester United lost to Leicester City 4-2. We're on It's All About the Studs Up show on Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Man United Agenda. And yes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is bulletproof. Has any one of you guys ever seen that film, Bulletproof Monk? That's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So, welcome to the team. On Monday, Mr. B, OS, and then listen, first time I'm doing a show with Rebel Irishman. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. So, guys, are we feeling like the Bulletproof Monk today, boys? What's going on? We're ready to go, yeah? Ready to go. Or is it the Squid Game? Is it the Squid Game or Bulletproof? Which one we're going for?
I prefer the Bulletproof. We catch bullets in our teeth.
Yeah, exactly. You catch bullets everywhere. But guys, listen. Poor performance on the weekend. But before we get into it, I just want to find out what everyone's sort of after match sort of reaction is. Just break it down in a few minutes. How are you feeling after the game? To be honest with you, I'm optimistic. I'm always optimistic. But tonight I'm going to play devil advocate because that's what Solo 7 is going to be doing tonight. So how is everyone feeling? Let's go on. Start with Rebel. Welcome to the show. How are you tonight? How are you feeling after the weekend?
Thanks, Solo.
Foxed over.
I had the unfortunate happenstance that my phone decided to let me down before the game kicked off. But so all I've seen is highlights, and they've left me feeling deflated. I'll be honest with you. I have a lot of questions as to certain aspects of that game, but like you, I think we can build from where we are. We can rise again, but definitely a feeling of deflation after watching those highlights this weekend.
And guys, if you're not watching, we got our Clark Kent in the building. OS, come on, talk to us.
I don't have the code anymore. I don't have the code. Go on, James.
Yes.
To be honest, you know what? I feel frustrated. I think I feel really, really frustrated because, we saw the lineup, and the first thing I said was, you don't have Fred in there, you don't have McTominay in there. So I already knew nobody's pressing, nobody's going to be running around in that middle of the park, and we're playing against a midfield that only does that. So I said before the game, this could be a rough game, and it turned out to be a very rough game because of that. There was no midfield; they were just going through. So feeling-wise, I just feel frustrated because I can see what's going on. And I don't understand why it's not being fixed. That's why I'm frustrated, I would say right now. That's where I am.
The one-word assassin, Mr. B. Come on, talk to us.
I'm pissed off, bro. I'll be honest. I'm bloody pissed off. I didn't see the game. Obviously, I had other things to do on Saturdays. So when I came on the show, I hadn't seen the game, so I didn't comment on the game. I just commented about Ollie. I'm glad I didn't watch the game. What a load of shit. Jesus Christ. And then we've got all of this Ollie bashing today. So the show today, he after that performance, he deserved all the criticism that I think he's earned the right to get an earful today because that performance was shocking. As OS said, no Fred, no McTominay. I was doing handstands thinking, it's going to be that. And then you see Pogba, who he's just getting lazier and lazier. and Bruno, who feels that he's Mr. Not Track Back. So that whole performance, there's a lot of egos in that team, and the egos are bigger than Ollies. So Ollie's in a lot of trouble at the moment. Omondi?
Yes, I was going to say with the start of the show, I'm sitting on Amondi's lap as well.
Yeah, Cookies, just give me some advice what to say. What I would say, interesting our responses there, guys. I think sometimes when you lose, you really win in some examples, you know? So I'm hoping, obviously it's disappointing, I'm hoping that when we're losing and the reaction to losing, it turns us around and then the right questions are asked, not just on Man United agenda, but to in-house as well. And the right questions are being asked and people have to have face-to-face, even if you have it out with someone, sort things out in-house to get things right. 4 goals, 4 major errors by the defenders. You know me, I'm the defensive coach on this show. So I could pick it apart and just say, no, this is not good enough. Major errors. And it's really unacceptable for Manchester United. So when we lose big. Everyone wants to talk about it. And I'm sure we're going to have an exciting show and lots of comments today as well on it. But I just want, when you lose, you've got to revise and look into the reasons why you lost and try to repair whatever issues you have and your wounds as well. We're all wounded. I've been stitched up. I've had a lot of banter against me the last couple of days, you know, but we move on. But unfortunately, we've got Atalanta and Liverpool. So let's just hope these wounds heal, you know.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm wounded. I'm absolutely wounded. So many mistakes. And my boy, Fred, went playing. So no one can say anything about Fred in this game. Fred cannot be blamed for anything whatsoever. So
Fred had an amazing game for Brazil.
Yeah,
Fred had an amazing game for Brazil. That assist was wonderful as well.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think I spoke quite long with on Monday about the whole setup with Brazil, how Fred play. And it's almost like I had to keep telling on Monday, like I'm trying to convince him how good Fred is when he plays for Brazil. But when he plays for Man United, he doesn't play in the position that he plays for Brazil. What is his natural position? So it's a killer. But listen, guys, I'm excited. I'm buzzing about tonight's show. Let's bring the energy. Guys, if you're watching, please smash that like, subscribe, and remember as well, we are giving you the chance to win yourself a signed Bruno Fernandes football shirt. All you need to do is subscribe to the channel. We hit 1K subscribers, and you're in a chance to win it.
Chairman, you said you're excited. So you tell me what's on the Man United agenda tonight?
So, me, I'm going to play the devil advocate.
Okay.
So I'm going to wind people up, get your reaction, and then, you know, like the icebreaker, you break the ice, you get into it, and then at the end of it, it's almost like you get that nice little energy to close the show. That's what we're going to do tonight. So we're going to wind you guys up.
Not Mr. B. I don't have to deal with him. The consequences. There will be consequences repercussions if you mention Mr. B. Trust me. He'll find you.
Yeah, it's the one word as well, isn't it? It's just the one word, or I can't take this anymore. Can't take it anymore. But guys, I'm going to ask a few questions tonight. And like we're on the show tonight, we're not going to be Ollie bashing. We just want to see whether or not we can work the jigsaw out and find out what we believe as Man United fans and also the panel on the Man United agenda, what we believe and we think could save Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job. So, like Anthony Herbert's already starting on you, Mr. B. So, guys, let's start off the first. Let's start off the first one. There's been suggestion by ex-team mate of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's working in the media, have a biased favoritism of him. Do you think the statement is true? Does this apply to fans and you guys on the Man United agenda? Let's start off with OS. OS, do you think that's a true reflection?
I think it is a true reflection. I think when you look at in the media, when they're interviewing the likes of Gary Neville, they're interviewing the likes of Scholes, you can see that they're not expressing themselves the way they want to express themselves because, you know, Ollie's a friend, you know, they played with Ollie. They're not going to throw Ollie under the bus. And I understand it in a way as well. But I just hope that that sentiment is not shared with the people that actually make serious decisions above at the club. They have to look at everything, you know, in a straight picture. They have to really see and make decisions wisely. even in the fan base right now, as you guys can see, the fan base is very, very split. You know, like there are the ones that want to give Ollie all the time that he needs, and then there's the others that feel, you know, the time is up right now. And I believe a lot of those opinions are based off what Ollie has done for us as a player. You know, I mean, I feel like a lot of that affection comes from that. And I get it. I mean, I get it. Ollie's a legend. He will always be a legend, no matter what happens in this tenure. You know, he'll always be that. But I think we have to look at the club, not at Ollie, not our relationship with the Ollie, but look at the club as a whole and what is best for the club right now. Is it, if Ollie leaves now and we bring in someone who has to take time to adapt, who has to re-change everything that's happening, is that really the right way to go? You know, there's a lot of tough questions to be asked. It's not as simple as get rid of him, bring in Conte, and everything's hunky-dory. It's not. They still have to go against Klopp. They still have to go against Pep. So we just need to be very smart, I would say. And I think a lot of the viewpoints and opinions of people is really biased, I think, because of the love that they have for Ollie.
Let's go to Rebel Eichmann now. Same question to you. Do you actually believe, because I'll give you my opinion afterwards, but do you actually believe, like, the punditry, like your Gary Neville, your even your Roy Keane, who's very critical of Solskjaer right at the beginning, all of a sudden it's almost like he's signed a paycheck to basically zip it, keep quiet?
Absolutely. I suppose my first real proper memory of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is 1999, that famous Champions League goal. And that's what is forever in United fans' hearts when they think of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But when you look at the players that are currently acting in punditry roles, you've got Rio Ferdinand, Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, Roy Keane, Robin van Persie. A lot of these guys are playing a lot of political football when it comes to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, rightly or wrongly. I'm going to give you a quote from Robin van Persie, who was speaking to what he'd hoped would improve in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and what I would like personally to see from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a manager. Sounds like a really nice guy. He needs a little more edge, a little more meanness, and sometimes, when it's called for, to get angry. And I think that's what I would love to see from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when it comes to United players. Ole the friend has a certain, I suppose, use in a football club, but we need Ole the manager sometimes when it really comes out. And I think it's hard for, especially Roy Keane and Gary Neville, who spent many years on the pitch with him, to say, listen, we need you to be a bit more on this side of the line.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So, very good quote, and it's not the first quote I've heard, and it's not going to be the last one I heard. Similar to Roy Keane, I'm going to go to OMONDI now. Roy Keane made a very similar comment to RVP, not a few months ago, last season, when he said, Ole's a nice guy. He walks around the change room. He always has a smile on his face. I'm not sure if Ole is the man who's going to sit there and ruffle a few feather. So OMONDI, he's now been in charge of Man United now. This is what, 2.5 seasons. He's going to go into almost, say January. It's almost like his 3rd season. You've got to say it's 3 seasons he's had completely. Do you agree with the the question I'm asking? Do you think there's too much favoritism amongst punditry and also fan base?
In a word, yes, I do. Just like I say, everyone can see it on TV. We all watch the media and everything else. And I do think there's a kind of click between ex-Man United players, your teammates, that kind of thing. It's like if someone said to me, oh, that Solo, he looks terrible in suits. You know, I'll defend him. I'll say, no, he doesn't. He looks smart, you know, that kind of thing. But I do agree with what Rebel Eichmann said. That quote from Robin van Persie is saying the right things. Mm-hmm. And I think it's being honest, but I still think it's kind of like not really too aggressive on him. It's not really killing him, but some comments can kill you. Some comments could be a bit, you know, you have to read between the lines in a way. That one's I agree with. I'm nodding. I say, yep. These are all the factors that he does need to improve on, and I'll go with that. So I think in the media there is a bit of a bias. Gary Neville, I think he's guilty of it sometimes, especially Roy Keane. I think he's a bit soft. Roy Keane doesn't hold back with other players, other teams, other management, everything else. But I feel, in a sense, he's sort of a bit reserved, and there's an unspoken rule with the boys' club or the men's club that you don't talk about Fight Club, or you don't talk about Man United players like that. So yeah, I think it is there, and they need to change that and just be a bit more honest. Even if you fall out with players and you don't speak again, just be fair, because I respect you more as a pundit if you come and speak the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Mr. B in the building, do you agree at all with, well, I'm going to say Rebel Irishman had basically a perfect point from the quote. Again, OS, the same thing on Monday. And I think with me, with the Roy Keane, do you think we've been a bit harsh on him? Or do you believe what you're hearing from us regarding the punditry and the media and the fan base who are very divided and very split at the moment about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
They're all up Ollie's ass. Let's be honest. Let's not beat around the bush, yeah? Roy Keane, for all his bravado and all of his bad mannerisms and all the people that he wants to cuss when he's ready, he's never criticized Ollie. Bum chum, yeah? Gary Neville, Mr. Sit on the fence. He's only going to be Ollie out, or Ollie should be sacked when Ollie's actually gone. Yeah? Rio, not criticizing him. At all, not criticizing him. So let's be honest, all of them are backing Ollie because he's their boy, he's their brethren. None of them, I don't believe any of them at all are going to say anything negative about Ollie. It's going to be the players, it's going to be the weather, it's going to be the sprinklers on the pitch, it's going to be the fans not shouting enough. Us five here, plus whoever else is watching, thank you. If you're watching, please like, subscribe and share. We all see the issues that Manchester United have. But these pundits are not focusing on Ollie's lack of tactics, to quote OMONDI. They're not focusing on that. It's a smoke screen. Everything now is a smoke screen. Ollie can be doing this, Ollie can be doing that. Souness has been cussing Pogba since the day Pogba was born. So, and he's always on our game. So you're not going to get any positivity from there. We've got Liverpool on Sunday, and we've got Atalanta on Wednesday. Now, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, we're in the shit. I would like Ollie to, I don't care what the change is. I don't give a shit what the change is. Be strong enough and keep it private. Don't be talking nonsense like you did about Sir Marcus Rashford, because guess what? Rashford's going to be here long after you've gone, and Rashford will probably be a bigger legend than Ollie when his career is finished. I'm not having a man distressed. And then what did Rashford do? Come on and bang. You understand? The people he should be criticizing, he's not criticizing. Like his brethren, them in the media aren't criticizing him. So me personally, they're gonna back Ollie, and they're always gonna cuss the players.
Thank you. Sorry,
can I just add a little point to this? We at the Man United Agenda are a team, aren't we?
Yes, we are a team.
And after every show, we meet and we critique each other
100%.
and on how to improve. And we're not afraid to say face to face, man to man to each other, we need to step it up on this, we need to step it up on that. And that's how we're consistent, and that's how we get a bit of honesty and respect amongst each other. So it has to be done by the pundits as well, who, even if you're ex-teammates, tell the truth.
Yeah. And it's the only way you can get better, isn't it? And for me, being a Man United fan, I've been supporting Man United since 1985, and I don't like to see managers get sacked, full stop. But the problem is, if we as football fans who would play a certain level of the game and we can see it, how can no one else see what we're seeing? Well, we can see it week in, week out, the same performances week in, week out. But I'm not going to get into the performance. I'm not going to get into Ollie. Like I said, I'm going to play the devil advocate here as well. So let's go on now. I'm going to come to Mr. B. We'll start off with you again. Cristiano, well, you got Ronaldo, age 36, yeah? Possible is unable to press hard or press high as others can do. Is there an issue, and how do we resolve the issue? So obviously we've got Ronaldo. He doesn't press. We know he doesn't press. What? Full stop. But how can we get the best out of Ronaldo?
Get rid of Ollie.
Wow. And you, okay. Yep. Keep going.
Look, let's be honest, right? Cristiano Ronaldo was a purchase that the club didn't need to take. We had Cavani, who did a stellar job for us last season. You've got Greenwood as that cover. They bought Ronaldo because Man City were going to buy him, let's be honest. I'm glad we bought him, but at the same time, there's elements to his game that modern teams now are using. Cristiano Ronaldo's 36, so let's be serious. We're not going to be asking him to press, the question that you've asked. That then means that everybody else on the team has to decide to press. We have Bruno, who will press on his own. We have Pogba, who won't press. We have Fred, who does press-ups. And we have McTominay, who just runs around the pitch. So unless we get two specialist presses in our midfield, or men who want to do it, then teams are always going to run straight through the middle. We've got big issues. We've got big issues. And if he can't not play Cristiano Ronaldo. Ollie doesn't have the knowledge to change or coach the players, OMONDI, in a way where Cristiano Ronaldo probably doesn't have to press. So at the moment, Cristiano Ronaldo's signing, I'm still going to say is a great signing. I'm not going to say it's not a good signing. But Ollie has to adapt to Cristiano Ronaldo now. And that's where the issue is going to be for me.
Just to add to
OS, you can take it away. OS, take it away.
Okay, perfect. I mean, the thing is, as Mr. B said, Ronaldo was never on our radar to sign in the summer, and it's crazy because Fabrizio Romano, who's a very trusted transfer source, said that United were actually going to buy a midfielder on the last day. He said this today, actually. They were going to buy a midfielder on the last day of transfer, but because the whole Ronaldo saga happened, Ronaldo had to go get United had to get Ronaldo and sacrifice the midfield. So my thing is, if you get a player like Cristiano Ronaldo to the club, you have to adjust to him. You can't expect him to come in at his age and especially at his profile and expect him to adjust to this system that's not there. You cannot do that. So what does it mean we have to adjust to Cristiano Ronaldo? It means we need crosses into the box. He's one of the best header of the ball in the world. He's one of the best. But we never cross the balls into the box. We keep trying to put it through the middle. We keep trying to stick to what Ollie's trying to do, which is counter or trying to use the pace of our forwards. You can't do that with Cristiano Ronaldo. That's not his game. Now we have a big issue because Rashford is back. So that means Rashford automatically has to go into that left side. So that means Pogba automatically will probably have to come to the center of the midfield. But then you've got who plays next to him, because to be honest with you, I'm gonna say this. For me, McFred has to play all the time, not because I think they're the best, but because I think that Ollie and the team don't know how to play with Matic. They don't know how to play with Van der Beek. They don't know how to play with these technically gifted players in the middle to control the midfield and control the game. So what does he need? He needs players that are going to outrun everyone. So it's a big issue we have right now. What's going to happen with Cavani on the right? What's going to happen with Sancho? Is he going to, not Cavani, sorry, Greenwood. Is he going to drop Greenwood? Like when Greenwood is the one that's scoring goals for us? Or is he going to have to be pressured to play our big fee signing in Sancho? So I mean, I really don't know how it's going to go forward right now, because Ollie's not doing himself any favors, or the coaching team are not doing themselves any favors, because we're not adjusting to Ronaldo. Ronaldo's getting frustrated, and Ronaldo being there is affecting a lot of the other players around. Because if Ronaldo don't press, someone else doesn't press. Bruno's pressing on his own up front when he doesn't need to press, so we're losing bodies in the midfield. Big issues. So just to answer your question, and just to put it in a nutshell, I think we have to adapt to Ronaldo. Otherwise, Ronaldo signing is going to be a disaster. That's my opinion on it.
So let's go to Rebel Irishman. Same question there.
Gotcha. I suppose I'm going to start off by a quick show of hands. When Jose Mourinho signed Zlatan Ibrahimovic, how many of you expected him to press? Show of hands. How many in the group? None of you? Like, when you think of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the last big name striker that we would have signed before Cristiano and Cavani, why are we applying these set of principles that Cristiano doesn't press enough when we knew at 36, similar to Zlatan, we were not going to get that message out of him? That then takes me back to the players that are playing behind Cristiano. Like, and Mr. B, you're going to hate this because it's going to be about Pogba. I'm sorry. But when you look at Donny van der Beek, despite him not playing the best at times, what do you see? You see running. You see him moving up and down the field. So coming off from what OS says, the fact that McFred has to play, I think Donny has to play in front of him to actually see that movement that we need in that centre of midfield. And then you're looking at what we have on the left and right. You've got Greenwood, Sancho, Martial, Rashford. You've got very quick, very pacey wingers. There is more than enough players that are capable of running and pressing without even having to worry whether Cristiano is standing inside the opponent's goal line.
Oh, that's a good call. And on Monday.
Yeah. So you're asking here simply, Ronaldo's 36 years old. Yeah. He might not be able to press as hard as other players these days. Is it an issue? And how do we resolve it? It is an issue, maybe, but you can resolve it because you don't have to press high all the time. You adapt. Ronaldo's effective. He was top goal scorer for Juve last season, and maybe top goal scorer in the Serie A. So he's going to give you something. Feed him in the box, like the other guys are saying. Feed him in the box. He can find space, score his head, score all kind of ways. And look at his goals this season. He hasn't been banging goals from outside the box like Greenwood the other day. He wants to finish his dinner right inside the 6-yard box. So we need to exploit that. So when it comes to pressing, the question was about pressing. I think we can wait. Let them play it out in defence. We just have to change our strategy. This is where management comes in. Change our strategy and start pressing when it gets to our midfield, for example. Or Ronaldo do Harry Kane and drop deeper, and then the two wide men press. Or Bruno likes to press as well. But I don't want Bruno pressing because I've already said already he needs to play deeper, a lot deeper, and start deeper. So it's down to the manager to say, okay, as a Rebel Irishman gave a great example about Zlatan, about him, for example, he wasn't able to press, but he's still effective because the manager was able to adapt and evolve using these players and get the best out of the players. Ronaldo was not going to press. Wait, don't start your press until the ball gets into our midfield, for example. Simple as that. That's how you resolve it.
I'm going to kickstart that as well. For me, Ronaldo, when I was watching the game I don't know if you guys saw what I saw as well. I'm pretty certain you did. But effectively, a lot of people criticize Fred. And it's like what OS said there. He does the work, even though as bad as Fred is, he keeps running. He tried to break stuff up in midfield. He may hit the ball in row Z. He may hit something, like hit the old woman outside in the street with his shot or whatever. But he consistently keeps running. With Man United, when you look at it, Ronaldo don't press, Greenwood don't press, Pogba don't press. And then you look in the sort of, who else? You got Bruno, Pogba, Ronaldo, and Green. That's 4 players already who don't press, who don't defend.
Bruno presses.
The thing is, Bruno presses, but he presses in the wrong way. He goes and presses too far forward when we need him in the midfield.
Exactly.
That's the problem between us and other teams. Like, just taking that example quickly, look at Manchester City or look at Liverpool. Every single one of their players, when they don't have the ball, are either pressing or they flood the midfield to make sure there's enough bodies in the midfield. For us, we always forget about the center defensive midfielder we need or the person who's going to dictate. If we have two people in midfield, they're going to get overrun if there's 4 or 5 people running at them all the time, no matter who those 2 people are. So I'm starting to realize it's more than just us needing a center defensive midfielder. It's more of us needing a shape, which we discussed before on the shows many times, is when we don't have the ball, we need more than 2 players in the midfield. And then we can start talking about the pressing and everything. Because you look at Rodri, De Bruyne is always getting compared with Pogba. De Bruyne presses. De Bruyne is always running. You know what I mean? And then you look at Foden. Foden's on the wing. He's always pressing. He's always coming into the middle. Like, and same with Liverpool. Salah, one of the best players in the Premier League right now, if not the best. Man is not just attacking. He comes back. He presses. He goes into the midfield. He gets the ball. We don't play like that. We don't have that. And we don't have the desire of the players doing that right now. So that's more, I think, of an issue than just we need a midfielder. I'm starting to realize anyway.
Just quickly on this pressing issue as well. I also think it has to be an organised press. For example, like Fred, for example, I find he's not very, his IQ is not great, in my opinion. Sometimes he presses for the ball and then leaves himself out of shape. And they play a triangle around him and then we're out. So it's all right pressing. Say, right, look at me, I'm working hard, I'm pressing. Or look at me, McTominay, for example. Look at me, I'm working hard, I'm pressing. I don't like that. I'd like, keep in position first. Shape is the most important thing, as Owen was saying.
Yeah, I agree.
So, guys, we're gonna do another question, and then after that we're gonna show like a little intro, a little video, and then we're gonna go back on. But we need to probably get through because I reckon there's loads of questions. But before we go there, quick question. Another question is, I'm gonna break it down slightly. I know it's got some long words and things, but he's back in the building. So, guys, I'm gonna go with Rebel, with this one here. Do you feel there's any sort of consequences regarding sort of like performance or underperformance at Manchester United? And do you believe the players are too comfortable knowing they already got a position at the club? Or do you think there should be a bit more? Again, hold the question there. Look at someone like Klopp on the touchline when something goes wrong, or Pep Guardiola when something goes wrong. There's consequences. With Man United, with Ollie, do you believe there's any consequences or any aftermath, or is a nice guy in the change room because he's just a nice guy, is Ollie?
Absolutely not, unfortunately. I don't think so. And I'm going to give a few examples. Shaw, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Ronnie, Pogba and Bruno. And the reason I'm going to say this now is I'm going to break it down a small bit. If Shaw plays bad, does that mean Telles comes in next game? No, it doesn't. If Wan-Bissaka plays bad, does Dalla come in next game? No, he doesn't. If Ronnie plays bad, we have Edison Cavani on our bench. Will he bring on Cavani? Absolutely not. It's Ronaldo. And if Pogba or Bruno play bad, we've got Danny van der Beek, a guy that was heralded as absolute outstanding talent, on our bench and has not got a single run of games where you could say, right, he's had a decent shot at this. And when you look even mid-game, when you look at when we'll say Bruno's out of position, you do not see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer walking out to his technical area and trying to get messages out onto the field of what he wants to see. And I don't believe for a second that he doesn't have it up in his brain, that he hasn't identified that he needs to get that message out there. I just think that maybe he just needs a bit of encouragement to get out there and say, right, you tell Pogba, I don't want him pressing forward beyond whatever line until we can navigate this period of 10 minutes where Liverpool are absolutely battering down the door. And I think simply because we haven't seen the changes, look at Bruno for the last season and a half. Towards the end of the season, how many times has Bruno been absolutely wiped out and without a single blade of energy? Because we don't have the confidence to say, Bruno, you need a rest.
Okay,
good shout.
So, good shout. Very good shout. That is. Let's go to let's go OS, let's give OS this question.
The question of you're saying,
yeah,
consequences and repercussions.
I think you know what I mean. It's clear that there's no consequences. I think Rebel Irishman really covered a lot of those points there. Yeah. We always talk about players who are either not on form or players that are not playing that should be playing, and we never see it happen. And funny enough, he doesn't keep the same team. He's always changing the team, but he's changing them in strange ways that we cannot understand. So, like, as he mentioned, there's been games where Pogba hasn't played well and in 2-3 games consecutively, but he still starts the next game. There's been games where Ronaldo hasn't played well. I understand Ronaldo is the legend, one of the world's best players, but if you don't play well, and you can see clearly that Cavani is on form and he's efficient, and you're still taking Cavani off, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's not good man management. It's not good decision making that's happening. It looks like he's making decisions based on profiles of players, and that's very dangerous. And I think, and I agree with everything Rebel said. I mean, I really don't believe the players feel that there will be a consequence. If this was, again, I hate to do this and take it back to City, but if De Bruyne doesn't play well, his place is not guaranteed in the next game, and that's De Bruyne. That's their best player. You know what I mean? So you see that fear in the players every game that they play. They know they have to give their all, no matter how much money they get or they're benched. It doesn't happen with us. For us, it's like, you don't play me, I'm gonna leave. That's kind of the mentality I feel that players have. Like, I'm too big for the club. I'm gonna leave if you don't play me, and they have to play. So that's kind of where I am right now. I don't feel that there's any consequences to the players.
Okay, let's go to Mr. Omondi. The consequences. Yeah. Come on, talk to us. Tell us what consequences.
Yeah, if anyone's seen Life, the film Life, there's going to be consequences and repercussions, about my cornbread. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I must say, these are really thought-provoking questions that you're asking us, But, I'm going to say about this, you have to have consistency if you're going to be a coach. Let me give you a quick story about me. I was playing for a football team, and the manager kept trying to pick on me because it made him look good in front of other players, even though I was minimal mistakes from me, everyone else losing the ball, doing whatever. He'd pick me out and shout at me because it make him look good. Oh, he can say that to the big man and get away with it. So once we come off the pitch, I had an argument with him. I said to him, I didn't argue. I said, no, you're out of order. I said, you're being selective. And that got him because he was being selective. And he lose respect that way. So what he did after the game, he decided to attack 2 players that he never attacks ever. And they went, what the F? And start cussing him and all this kind of thing. And he ended up walking off. He was so upset. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have that consistency in the side. Doesn't matter who you are, what level, what ability you are. In the 11 guys on the pitch, you have to be consistent with it. If you're playing poor, say something. If someone's done something, doesn't matter who it is, any player, even your top goal scorer, that's not good enough, mate. If he decides he doesn't want to be here anymore, then let them go. That's the big mistake you have to really be consistent with. It's so important when managing big egos at football players.
Agreed.
I agree. And let's go to the man himself, Mr. B.
First team coach. He will be a
first team coach. Come on, talk to our first team coach.
Listen, I've had a situation.
Any egos that you...
Yes, I've got a lot of egos in my team. Me, how I deal with it, I come off. I'll be honest. If they show any lack of disrespect to the team, to me, I don't care if they show it to the opposition. That's the whole point. But there has to be consequences. People have to know or have to have a level of fear, and none of those players at that club fear Ollie. He is a legend to us fans. To those players, Ollie's not a legend. Rooney would probably more be a legend to them because they played with Rooney and they saw what he could do. Ollie was playing in non-HD TV where it's very, very grainy. You understand? So I think things have moved on in regards to legendary status from those specific Manchester United players. Us as fans, Ollie will always hold a place in our heart. But a lot of those players, it's a job. Now, Ollie being the figurehead, they're thinking, well, hold on a minute. We're at Man United. We're supposed to be the biggest club in the world. But we can take the piss. And let's be honest, a lot of those players are taking a piss with their performances. There's no consequences at all. And as I've said on the last couple of shows, Ollie's Ollie is a wicked liar. You understand? Because these players, it's only now, to me, now Ronaldo's come in and he's saying to man, this training is crap. That Fred is saying, hold on a minute. Well, I could have my piece. Pogba's always talking. No, Pogba's agent's always talking. It's very rare that Pogba comes out and says something. If you look at how it normally goes, he normally keeps his mouth, a little bit quiet. So I think there's issues that Ollie does not have the cojones to deal with at the club, and they're his making. So now the buck stops with Ollie. I just think that there's going to be more things coming out, and those players who are always playing will still be always playing because they're our best players. They don't have the motivation to do everything else.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to now change it up a little bit. I think I've asked everyone a question, haven't I? I haven't missed anyone, have I? I've asked everyone. So, Amanda, would you mind just taking probably about 5 or 6 questions maximum, guys? We are running for time at the moment, so we apologize, but we'll try and do our best to get through some of the good comments.
Okay, welcome everyone. I'm not going to go through every comment, but Box, how you doing? Connor was here, Andy Herbert, Gemma. I love this one about Superman. He does look fresh, doesn't he? How do you recognise him with his glasses on, But there's a rumours that there might be a protest for a Liverpool match. How do we feel about it? Well, we'll let you know live. Yeah, we're going to be up there on the Man United agenda, going to Man United to watch the Liverpool game, and we will be asking the fans exactly how they feel about this. So you guys don't forget to tune into the Man United agenda this weekend. Let's go through some questions here. Talking about, as I told him, here's his Connor's thing, saying a mix of tactical mistakes by Ollie and poor performance around the park. Not 100% one or the other, but both disappointing as a mix. If it meant Ollie getting a sack, would you take beating against Liverpool this weekend?
Don't
We're going to smash Liverpool up 4-0.
Everyone agrees, even the corner, so we wouldn't take that, Gem. Let's go through Box. The performance level have been poor for ages. There is no bounce back. This is from Box. This is his observation. I do kind of agree. We haven't been performing we haven't been on fire, have we, throughout the season? But yeah, it's varying opinions, isn't it? This from Connor. It's been poor, but not fully on Ollie, which is why replacing Ollie will not be an automatic fix. Players have been poor as well. So he's saying players have to take responsibility as well.
Can I just interrupt 1 second? Yeah, players have been poor. But I honestly believe, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, I don't think the players are playing for Ollie. I honestly believe it. Since Ronaldo's been at the club, the players have not been playing for Ollie.
Okay. MEFC updates, how you doing? He says, Mr. B coming with smoke. Smoke. And that's not literally, he's coming with some verbal smoke today. Box is saying, Pogba plays like he's 36. Here's an interesting one. Talking Muse says, 3-5-2 role would suit Ronaldo better. This is about the pressing issue, I believe. So two strikers pressing instead of one. That's an interesting shout there. And so many here. I'm just going through. No DM, but a 40 million Ballon d'Or nominee on the bench for almost 2 seasons. Is that referring to Van der Beek?
Van der Beek, yeah.
Hi, Cosman. How you doing? Fergie forced that signing on the club. What's he referring to there?
Ronaldo.
Oh, okay. Good shout. There's so many. Losing Pogba and getting someone like De Jong from Barca would be a blessing in disguise. So there's other players that we think we can fit in. Bruno, Pogba, and Ronaldo can all play at the same time. Does it work? Can they play all time at the same time? Does it work? I believe yes, under the right management.
I believe it can work.
You think so?
I think play 4-3-3, yeah, and command 4-3-3. But this is where coaching comes in and management. You discipline Bruno and Pogba to play strict roles.
You say just quickly. Sorry, you say discipline. If the players do not want to do that job, do not want to run, You can't force them to do that. Means they don't play.
It's not for me. It's not about running. If you're positioned correctly, shape is most important. If you've got the position correctly, you don't have to run. When do you see Rodri running? When do you see all these other guys running? That's
my question is this: so you're saying you don't run. So what happens when you have to chase a man after the ball? What are you going to do? Walk?
I'll answer Anthony Herbert here, and he says, "I'll answer you." He says, "Omondi, lean over and give Mr. B a hug. He needs one." Mr. B. Okay, all right. Thank you, Solo.
Brilliant, guys. Thank you so much. So let's go now, and guys, we're just gonna quickly listen to this interview and just give our 2 pence piece within it. And guys, if you're watching, please like, please share, please subscribe to the Mania Agenda as well.
1-0 at one point.
Yeah, of course. You know, good goal, good start from us. Even though we handed away a little bit of possession early on, but then the goal changed it a little bit. I thought we played well around that time. Could have maybe knocking up to get it the second one, and then we gift their first goal away. That's sloppy. And disappointing. And second half, maybe end-to-end game. But the goals we conceded were disappointing.
You talked about the sloppiness of the first goal. Harry Maguire was involved there. Do you think there's a bit of rustiness about him?
It's a moment there that we could have dealt with better, of course. And then Harry knows that he could have maybe done better, but that's in every goal you concede. If you don't, if you're outplayed, it's easier to accept. And all the 4 goals we conceded today, I thought we should have done better.
And it's a cliche in football: you are most vulnerable to concede when you just scored. So it happened today. It must be disappointing to concede that particular.
Yeah, 10 seconds after equalise and you maybe on the front foot again. That's very hard to take, and it's disappointing because that's lack of focus, lack of well, we didn't defend well enough.
You went in an amazing away run of 29 games unbeaten.
Let's go again.
Ended today, but are you a little bit worried about the defensive issues coming? A couple of good big games for you.
There's loads of big games. Every game at Man United is a big game. And yeah, it had to end sometime, probably. Even though we wanted to extend it, 29 games is not bad. But then now it's let's go on another one. But then let's start at home, hopefully on Wednesday night.
Cristiano Ronaldo played 90 minutes, but maybe he didn't get the service that he needed in this game, you think?
Well, it's the whole team performance today that we didn't create enough chances for any of our players.
Thank you so much, Ollies.
Cheers.
So, guys, very interesting interview that was. Body language as the Manchester United manager you just lost, but prior there was a couple of clips that's been cut out where he criticised a few players, Marcus Rashford, but also he was like joking and smiling the beginning of that clip. To be honest with you, I remember David Moyes smiled when we played Man City and he said we aspire to be Man City. He got sacked straight after that. We've got a manager who's smiling after losing 4-2 to Leicester City. And it's not until the serious questions are asked and he sort of like tone it down a bit. But guys, give me a little rundown, 30-second rundown of what you guys think about the interview, and then we move to segment 2 of the show, or 3, should I say?
Well, I can go first. For me, the thing is, all his interviews sound the same to me now. I don't know if you guys hear the same thing or you see it, but it all sounds the same to me. He never talks about tactics in the interviews. He always talks about the game being final margins. He always talks about it. He said there in that interview that, you know, we were good for this period. For me, we were never good in that game that we played against Leicester. There was not one moment we were good. It's just that we were lucky that Greenwood came out with an incredible goal. That's one thing we talk about, but his goal was incredible. But it just feels like he either doesn't know what to say or he's hiding. It really looks like he's so far out of his depth, and maybe he's not in touch with really the realities of what's happening right now. I feel that. It's really sad to say that, but smiling when he's not supposed to be smiling, and maybe that's a personality. Maybe he smiles, and that's what makes him feel good, and that's okay. But you need to make sure that you explain what's happening, what we're all seeing, and we don't see any of that. So that's the biggest problem for me. All the all the interviews are the same, and it's just fluff. For me, that's how I explain it. It's fluff. He just wants to get out of the interview as quick as possible.
Okay, Rebel.
I suppose I'm going to sum this up in comparison to my poor beleaguered Irish international side. Some of you probably aren't used to getting batterings with the English international side, but there was a time when Ireland were down 6-0 in an international game, and the Irish fans were singing. And Roy Keane in studio said, "What the bleep do they have to be singing about?" And this is the feeling that I'm getting from this Ole Gunnar Solskjaer interview, in that there's either a fear to criticise, a fear to take ownership, or it's just maybe feels that he's treading a bit out of his depth and is trying to stay in his safe space.
Mm-hmm.
That is the feeling that I'm getting from this interview. And I'm going to throw that with a very short and quick snap back up to Mr. B.
That's brilliant. He is acting like he has none. And you know what I'm talking about when I say he has none.
Cojones,
At the moment, that interview was so... He didn't want to criticize the players. He didn't. He could have criticized the whole team as a team performance. He didn't have to dig out an individual. He didn't do it. We all saw what a load of trash Harry Maguire was after one day's training. You as a manager, you have a man who has been out for so long. What if Harry Maguire played and got injured? Then what's Ollie going to say? He trained for an hour. He trained for, how long are they on the pitch for? 4 hours. Come on, man. He doesn't have, he has no, Amondi, you said it to me. And we used to bust joke, and I used to come off and I used to say to my missus, boy, Monday, he's on the wind up. But you know what? When you used to say Bruno used to pick himself, and I used to say, no, Bruno don't pick himself. These players are now, Ollie now, the players are now picking themselves. It's a matter of time. Amondi.
Yeah, I think really good interview to put on the channel there. I think it really sort of highlights deficiencies in his character, not lack of conviction and that kind of thing. I just made a quick note from watching that first time seeing it. He said lack of focus. All right. But I think you need, as a manager, you need to elaborate on what the focus is. Well, what is the focus then? So my question would be, focus on what? On what exactly? Another manager would be lack of focus. I asked him to do A, B, and C, high press, this kind of thing, and didn't work out or whatever. So he never, this is my issue with him, he never articulates or explains, as OS said, what the tactical issue is or anything. He's always said, well, lack of focus, didn't play well enough, let's hope this happens every go. I mean, come on. We don't live by the hope creed or the wish creed. The knowing. It's about knowing. And as a manager, you've got to know what you expect from your players.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't perform it, you point out, even on TV, without putting out players, say, we came into the game like this. If you listen to Brendan Rodgers, he said, we have to play the high press. It's what we do. We have to adapt accordingly to different styles. Listen, how good a coach is. He plays 3 at the back sometimes. Sometimes he plays 4. The players don't have any issues about adapting or to the different change of shape or anything else. They're still able to do it. That means they're well drilled. They know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, just to add just one more thing to what you were saying just there, it's funny. Ollie always talks about we need players who run. We need players for passion. We need players who show all of that. Did you guys hear Pep? Pep was like, I don't want my players to run for nothing. Like, exactly. Don't run. Like, make the other team run. You know? Yeah, we're living in a different universe, man. Seriously.
It's not bad. But it's, for me, guys, when I look at the whole interview and I look at the blaming of players now coming out, I can see the writing on the wall. That's all I can see, because Louis van Gaal did it, David Moyes did it, Mourinho did it, and it's a writing on the wall. It's a sign. Ole now is doing it. It's a writing on the wall. For me, we talk about tactics, we talk about pressing, we're talking about sort of the Man United DNA and bringing back the Man United DNA. Right now, I can't see any DNA, a United DNA from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Honestly, I can't see it. He needs to fix up, because right now he's got about 4 or 5 games to save his job, and he has to come and he's got to start from Wednesday, going into the Liverpool game and smashing Liverpool up 4-0, smashing them 4-0 because we don't want nothing beside 4-0, and take it away, and then we go to City and we smash City up as well. That's all we need as Man United fans. That's all we need. So listen, guys, if you're watching, please like, please share, please subscribe to the Man United Agenda. Any final thoughts, guys, before we roll up?
Yeah, for me, I've got something to say. I saw a stat earlier saying that we've conceded, we haven't had a clean sheet in 19 games, maybe one in 19 games. That's another issue. The defense is not performing. We saw defensive errors, individual defensive errors, lack of communication when we're assessing games in the last few weeks. We talk about lack of communication between the players as well, defensive errors as well. So it's really, we haven't kept a clean sheet for so long. So these are other issues that we need to resolve, and hopefully as a club and all these areas that we get on it. And I think it's been a great discussion today, guys. Some really interesting points from all of you.
Brilliant. And guys, if you're liking, please like, please share, please subscribe to the Man United Agenda. And we're going to have on Monday Mr. B talk. I'm not sure if you're going to be around tomorrow for the preview for the Atlantic game. And you've also got Rebel Irishman as well. We'll be around as well, guys. So stick around. And remember, guys, we are at Manchester United versus Liverpool on Sunday. And I cannot wait to get there. We're going to smash them up. But also, we're going to be doing a show with a couple of Liverpool fans on Thursday. So keep an eye out for that as well, because we need to get
Talk TV.
Pop Talk TV. Yeah, we're gonna show them how it's done around here. They're amateurs, so we'll need to teach them.
Oh god!
Oh god! I'm playing.
I never said this, by the way. It's all him.
Yeah.
It's all
yeah. Listen, I've got to bring my team, man. I've got to bring my team. As much as we're in the down at the moment, I've got to be positive. Ollie at the wheels. Ollie at the wheels. Keep staring us around, mate. So, guys, thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, and tuning to the Man United Agenda. We love all the comments and all the support, guys. And have a lovely evening.